I would like to say a few words on spirituality because I think it's so important. I mean, this is really important. There are so many of us, there are so many people who really care about these issues, what this all is about in a way. And the first thing that one has to see and has to understand in a way, if you're really into this, is to know that, and also as all, there are so many teachers in this spiritual tradition, and there is so much rubbish out there, and there are so much good, clear-cut clarity and precision out there, but sometimes it's difficult to find it. Or perhaps maybe it's not too much of the clarity, but there's a lot of the mumble jumble at least. But the first, in my mind, the thing that's really important to say is that, and which all the so-called masters say, the people who really understand this, is that spirituality is a trap. You know, you have to understand that. If you're really into spirituality, then you must understand that spirituality is a trap in itself. Spirituality is a trap in itself, because spirituality is not what you want. The goal that you're after, the truth that you're after, the ultimate reality or the answer that you're after, is not in spirituality, but spirituality can take you there. So spirituality is a vehicle, you know. Spirituality is an instrument in a way. Spirituality is a door. Spirituality is a portal. That's the right word. Spirituality is a portal. Spirituality, or good spirituality, or a good religion, or whatever we can call it, is a portal into that which we want to find or achieve through spirituality. But spirituality in itself is not what we're after, and that spirituality in itself is a trap. And there are millions of people who are sitting on the floor and meditating and singing praises to spirituality in and of itself. This is spirituality in and of itself, which is not the end station. I mean, that's not where you want to go. Spirituality is a door, it's a threshold, you know, it's a portal, in a way, you know. What you're after is the absolute. What you want is to have a clear recognition of ultimate reality, in a way, the thing that will make you peaceful, the thing that fulfills or completes the map of your life or of existence in itself, the thing that completes the map of existence or of life in itself. And of course, if you want to complete that map, then you have to understand the brain, because if you don't understand the brain, then you can be as spiritual as you want, and you can be happy and dancing around in like the flower power hippie style, you know, forever, and it's going to be wonderful, great. But it's just a phenomenon, you know. You're a dance in the wind, and if that's what you want to be a dance in the wind, okay, then spirituality is for you. Then spirituality as a product, spirituality as a state, in a way, to be in, is okay, maybe something for you then. But if you're looking for truth, if you're a philosopher, if you're a real seeker, if you want to understand, see and get recognize and get clarity, then you have to recognize that spirituality in itself is a trap, which means that you're not going to stay there. You're not going to sit there and mumble jumble all your life. You're not going to sit there and suck on some concept. You're not going to sit there and think that your conception of the Buddha is going to save you. You're not going to sit there and think that the conception of God is going to save you. I mean, because you have to see that if you make something a product in your mind, then it's just a product in your mind. You know, it's a projection. You create it yourself. It's a cartoon, right? Everything's a cartoon. Every language game is a cartoon, in a way. Thought as a language game can also phenomenologically be seen as a cartoon, in a way, you know, as an architecture of yeah, who does not reflect the ultimate reality that you're after. But anyway, never mind. But and in this, on this road, especially of this new spirituality and the new Advaita and Vedanta, and there's people like Muji and Adyashanti and Rupert Spira, these people are people who says that you are the awareness, you know. But the thing that I would like to say about this is that awareness is a product. Consciousness is a product. If you want to stay with that product, okay. If you want to attach, if you want to inhabit that product, if you want to move into that product and stay there, and even identify yourself with that product, okay. Do that, but it's just a product. It's a product of the brain. You know, awareness is produced. Consciousness is produced. Your life is produced because you are that which sees the unfolding of life, you know, in the movie that we see or whatever. But I mean, the whole point is that consciousness in itself, and this is the thing that I really don't like with Muji and Adyashanti and Rupert Spira, is that they don't have any clarity on that, because they talk about the true self, you know, what is the true self, and they end up, the true self is awareness. You are this awareness. This awareness is what you are. That's your true self. Yeah. And it's all right, never mind. But it's a product. That awareness is a product. It's a feature. That awareness is a feature of what is being produced by the human program. My work is about to explain and expose and convey the human program. That's another thing, but that's my artistic and also philosophical work, but mostly artistic, because in my mind art is dead and has been dead for 20, 30 years, and what we need now is to understand the brain, and to understand the brain means to understand the human program. How do we think? Why do we think as we think? And all these things. Well, this talk is not about that. This talk is a little bit about spirituality. Spirituality is a trap if you stay in spirituality as such, because it's not what you want. What you want is what is on the other side of spirituality. What you want is that which spirituality can take you to. And that's the wonderful thing of spirituality. Spirituality can take you home, right? But spirituality in itself is not the home. Spirituality can take you where you want to go, but spirituality in itself is not where you want to go. You want to go where spirituality can take you. It can lead you, you know. Spirituality is a friend. Spirituality is a father. Spirituality is a mother. Spirituality is a family member who can take you home. Spirituality is a vehicle that can take you to where you want to be. And when you find that, when you find the place where you want to be, then spirituality has helped you. And it was very worthwhile to be in the spiritual search and in the spirituality process for such a long time, because it bore fruits. You achieved something through that journey. But you achieved it because you transcended spirituality. You achieved it because you came out of that trance that spirituality can be. You know, we produce the trance of spirituality ourselves. We produce the home, or we produce the final destination as a conception, as a projection in our own mind, and we think that we're there. And I think that the only thing that you have to understand, really, if to get out of the consciousness and awareness business of some of the aforementioned so-called gurus, is that you have to understand that these are states, you know. Consciousness is a state. Awareness is something that is produced. It's the feature of the human program. And the absolute, ultimate reality is that which exists prior to awareness. It exists prior to consciousness. It is beyond consciousness, you know. The field that is the platform on which this world stands is that which comes prior to consciousness. It's not consciousness itself, because consciousness is a product, it's being produced. And science has not yet successfully been able to answer the question, is consciousness produced by the brain, by biology in the brain or chemistry in the brain, or is consciousness a fundamental feature of the universe? Does it exist in and of itself? Okay, science has not been able to answer that question, but in any case, there is something beyond it. However you see consciousness, there is something beyond consciousness. There is something that is prior to that consciousness. And that which is prior to that consciousness, that is the absolute. That is the ground on which we stand. That is the eternal home of man. That is the thing that gives peace. That is the thing that gives clarity, because if you identify with consciousness or with the conscious states, all the different conscious states, the psychological self, which is an institution that we build within the realm or the domain of consciousness. I mean, if we identify with consciousness or the things that are inside consciousness, then, okay, so we do that. Then we identify with the game of what's being produced by the human program or by nature or by the universe. But what about that which is beyond? What about that which is prior to all of this? Isn't that who we really are? I mean, isn't that the ground on which we stand? Isn't that the platform on which everything else rests? Yes, it is. So it's just this is just a little something on that I personally, I really love and like and adore the approach and the purpose and the sincerity and I adore the approach and the sincerity of gurus like Adyashanti and Eckhart Tolle, of course, and Rupert Spira, and of course Mooji, which is a wonderful, wonderful man, and it's great, and it's really wonderful. But when they settle for something that's not finished, when they settle in the awareness state and say, oh yeah, you are awareness, true self is awareness, then I just allow myself. Then it's of course very subjective, and I may be completely wrong. Everything that I say in this little talk may be wrong. Absolutely everything that I say here may be wrong, and that's also fine, no problem, because we're all avatars. Thought is an avatar, thinking is an avatar. The cognitive process is in a way an avatar process, which comes from the domain of consciousness, which, as I've said, in my mind, I think rests on that which is prior to consciousness. But for all of everyone, for all the people who have a sincere interest in spirituality and who has a sincere wish for self-realization, I would just suggest, please go to the masters. Please go to the true source. Go to the source of all of this. Don't listen too much to the popular gurus in America and in Portugal and in Rishikesh or in India. I mean, go to the masters. Go to the first ones. Go to those who truly developed this 50, 60, 70, or 100 or 200 years ago. Don't get too stuck with all this guru mumble jumble, because if you see a person who wants to be in the guru tradition, then he is not completely self-realized in a way, because it means that he has an interest in being a guru. I mean, he can confirm his own existence, or he allows himself to, he wants to be that, He likes that. He wants that. It gives him satisfaction. You know? And you can. It doesn't take many hours in listening to Adyashanti or Muji or Rupert Spira before you understand that, well, there's an element of gratification in this, there's an element of self-satisfaction in this, and there's also an element of the absence of clarity in this. There's also an element of the unwillingness to be completely truthful and honest and transparent about everything. And that would mean to say, well, actually, dear listeners and dear friends who see me as a spiritual teacher and as a guru, I have to say that I don't know. Happy birthday, happy Christmas. I don't know. Try to find it. Find the thing that you need to find. And they don't say that, basically, because they're really comfortable. They love it, and they've built a business, and they snap up, the resurrection of Jesus or something, make a program like that, because they've understood through another YouTube video what Jesus is. They picked up, what is it? Wow, this guy really taught me. He made me see what Jesus really is. Now I'll make an online course about the resurrection of Jesus, and I'll be very popular. Or whatever. It's all very nice. It's nothing wrong with it, but it's not clear-cut, serious business, and business is business. Business has nothing to do with money or self-gratification. Business has to do with truth, only that. Business is about truth. That's the only real business. Business is about truth. And when these people get out of the spirituality business, which is a trap, and when they can explain why it is a trap, and when they can explain why do we create these trances, why do we create these mental trance states, which are our attachments to what spirituality represents for us. That was quite well said. When we get attached to the things that spirituality represents for us, then we should try to see that, what is it that this represent? Why do I get attached to that? What is it in the inner child, or what is it in the soul, heart, essence, or what is it in my mind who goes there? Is it a program? Is it a program that acts on my behalf? Or is it me? Is it ultimate reality? No, this is unclear. Now I'm starting to mumble jumble too. All right, but never mind. But the thing that I wanted to say is that there's a lot of thing in spirituality, and spirituality is going to grow up. Spirituality is going to be one of the biggest businesses in the next 100 years. Spirituality is a truly emerging big business endeavor. And in this big business, or in this activity of relating to and attaching to and coming to spirituality, there will of course be many good ones, and there will be some bad ones, there will be some immature ones, and the immature ones, they will of course mirror what's in the bigger public. So the lesser ones, the gurus that are not true real gurus, they will get a lot of followers. That's just going to happen. That's just the truth, and you can see that already. The gurus who are not the most authentic, true, real, genuine gurus, they will get a lot of followers, because they mirror and they reflect the thing that is in the general public. But when people mature or get so sincere and so truthful and so earnest in their approach that they won't settle anymore for mumble jumble, they want to know. They want to take away the last curtain. And the last curtain is that which is beyond consciousness, because the last curtain is consciousness. The awareness business, the consciousness business, the awareness business, the pure awareness business of Muji and Adyashanti and all these people, that is the last curtain. You have to take that away. If you're not able to remove the last curtain, if you're not able to take the pure awareness curtain away of Muji and Adyashanti and things like that, you will not see the absolute. You will not see truth as I see it. You will not see ultimate reality, because ultimate reality and the absolute is that which is prior to consciousness, prior to awareness. But this is as I see it, and I may be wrong, but it should be possible to say this, because we all have an interest in the truth, and we all have the right to express our views, of course, and we all have the right to follow our own heart in this matter, because that's, after all, that's what it's all about. Our inner heart will take us home, you could say, The inner heart will take us home, or to the recognition of what it is that we really want to know. Because we are being fooled. We are being fooled by ourselves. We are being fooled by all the programs that runs around in our brain. We are fooled by ourselves. We are fooled by our own thinking. And we are fooled by, of course, by the media, which is the endless swimming pool that surrounds us all the time. We are fooled by the media. We are fooled by other people. And we are fooled by gurus. We are fooled by so-called spiritual teachers. We are fooled by professors. There's so many hopeless, incompetent, stupid, idiotic professors in this world who absolutely doesn't know anything. And they should never even be called professors. And there are so many people who are willing to fool us, and there are so many people who fools us even if they want to or not. We get fooled, we get tricked, The human mind, we are something very subtle. It's very easy to fool the human being. It's very easy to fool me, to fool anyone. We are very subtle, we are very sensitive. We will jump on any horse that comes trotting through our field. We will jump on every we will jump in every Mercedes that is available, The Rolls Royce comes and you just jump in, And when you understand that he's taking you to somewhere that you were not, that you don't want to go, well, never mind. But we get fooled. We get fooled. We get tricked. We get fooled, and we fool ourselves. I fool myself all the time, I'm sure. That's the destiny. The destiny of the human being is to fool himself, is to fool ourselves. The destiny of the human being is to fool himself. We fool ourselves, because that's just how the human program plays out in us. The human program makes this process so very possible. So we fool ourselves all the time, because, as they say, the masters say, the world is a matter of hypnotization. We are in hypnosis, we are in trance, we believe the thing that we believe, and the thing that we believe is just a trance state in the brain. It's just a brain state in the brain. This is business. This is interesting, to delve in on that, to open that chapter. That is business, and that is the future, and none of these so-called gurus do that. So in many ways, we fool ourselves. It's very easy to fool ourselves. It's very easy to fool ourselves, and that's how it is. And so the thing that we should do, and the thing that I will conclude this little talk with, is to say that if you consider every so-called holy man as holy, if you consider every so-called guru a true guru and a holy man, then there's not going to be any progress in this world. We have to talk to each other as who we are. So There are a lot of great gurus, and I adore and love all these people, but we have to be able to be critical. We have to criticize each other because we're in this game because we want results, we want clarity, we want development, we want to progress, we want progression, we want the world to go forward. We don't want the world and humanity to stay at this level at which we are. We want to transcend this level. We want to improve humanity. We want to improve global world society. We want to create a new person, we want to create a new human being. But because we see where it's going, we see that the world is going down, and we're not able to accept the leadership of this world anymore because it's so pathetic, and it's so unworthy, and it's so ridiculous, and it is so completely without any sense and logic even. I mean, it's so silly, the leadership in this world and the leadership in all the different singular nations. I mean, it's just not enough. We need more than this. And if we need more in the political arena, then we also need more in the spiritual arena. If we need more in the artistic arena, it is because we need more in the philosophical arena. If we need more, yes, in national and international political arenas, it is because we need more in spiritual arenas as well. We need to get things going, and that means to include everything that is interesting to the human being into our dialogue, into our approach to life in everyday existence. We have to put the thing that matters to us into our life, not separate everything. If we give politics to all these idiots who control the world, then it's not going to help anyone. It's going to be bad for everyone. If we donate spirituality to all the so-called gurus who have been able to develop a fan base, if we donate the domain of spirituality to the religions and to the already established gurus, then we are doing ourselves a disservice, because spirituality belongs to everyone. Reflection belongs to anyone. Truth belongs to everyone. So we have to accept that we want to be politicians. We want sometimes even to talk about ultimate reality. There's nothing wrong with being a guru for 5 minutes, Maybe a guru for 5 minutes is, maybe a person who is a guru for 5 minutes is much more valuable than a guru who is a guru for 40 years. Same as you can say that if you want help from a doctor, if you really need help from a doctor, and there are two options. You can read 2 pages of a book of a wonderful, great, genius doctor, or you can go to a mediocre doctor for 10 years, once a week for 10 years. What is it that you would like to do? If you read the chapter, if you read just 2 pages of a genius doctor, you can save your own life and you can have a good life. But if you go to the mediocre doctor, you're going to throw your life away. So the thing that we need is good information. We need truth. And we need to accept the fact that we want the things that matters to us into our own daily life. We want to be able to care about politics. We want to care about spirituality. We want to care about God or love or family or whatever in the way that we do. So we cannot donate politics to the politicians. We cannot do that. We see where that leads us. It's just not going to work. And we cannot donate spirituality or reflection or philosophy to the philosophers or to the professors or to the gurus. We have to do it ourselves. We have to accept the fact that we're all thinkers. We're all thinkers, we're all philosophers, we're all gurus, we're all searchers, we're all seekers, and we will achieve progress as human beings, we will achieve progress as humanity when we accept this, and when the regimes of this world allows us to be holistic persons, when we are allowed to be what we are, when we are allowed to be political, when the regimes grant us the freedom of speech which is necessary for us in order to be the people that we are, in order for us to be able to improve the world as we like to do. Because the world can be greatly improved if we just put some intellect in there, But if we separate everything and say that only the politicians are allowed to do things politically in this world, then it's up to them. And they are clearly 80% not even mediocre, they're idiots, most of them. Sorry, shouldn't say that, but actually, or I just say it in a better way then. The best of us do not come to the right positions, and that is because of the career politicians and the career gurus and the career this and that. The best of us does not come to the right positions. America has a lot of talent, and it's controlled. America is controlled by people who are completely devoid of talent, and yet there's so much talent around. So there's clearly something wrong, Talent must be able to come to the world. And in order to let talent come to the world, we have to let talent speak. We have to let talent talk. And then we cannot donate politics to politicians. Then we cannot donate spirituality to the gurus or to the religions. We have to accept that, well, I'm a part of this dance too. I'm a part of this salad too. I come from the human program too. I come from ultimate reality too. I'm in this world too. I would like to have my say too about this. And that's just how it is. Anyway, that was a very long talk. I just wanted to say something about spirituality. Spirituality is not what you want. Spirituality is that which can take you where you want to be. Spirituality is a great vehicle for coming to places that we really want to see, Spirituality is a ladder. Spirituality is a road. Spirituality is a journey towards self-realization, of course. And towards phenomenological clarity. Spirituality is important because it can give us the thing that we want to get from spirituality. And if that is going to be so, if it shall be possible for us to get what we need from spirituality, then we have to make sure that spirituality is free. Then we have to make sure that we are all welcome to express ourselves when it comes to our own convictions or recognitions or our own discoveries. Because, of course, spirituality is about discovery. Religion is about discovery. Self-realization is actually perhaps what it's all about, and self-realization is that which spirituality can help to produce or help to make happen. The thing that I believe in is to understand the human program. Understand the human program and understand the brain. Even to understand that there is one part of your brain that you cannot have access to. That's just a great discovery in and of itself. You think you can change everything about yourself, but there's one part of your brain that you don't even have access to. And that brain is a perfect brain who's not going to listen to you or to anyone else. That brain has been developed for 200 million years. There's a part of your brain that's 200 million years old, and there's another part of your brain that's 50,000 years old. And then there's another part of your brain which is 3 months old, So there are many different things that comes into our mental life, and which also makes it, uh, which also makes us very sensitive, or very prone to delusions. I mean, it's so easy for us to get fooled, to get tricked by anything. And maybe that's what the human being is. The human being is a conscious domain that gets fooled by the things that he perceives. The human being is a mental machine that gets fooled by the phenomenons that we perceive. Perhaps in a way. But what's prior to that? What's beyond that? Hmm? Is there something beyond that? Yes, there is. There was something before that machine came into being. You know, what was before the human program was created? Or whatever, never mind. But to understand the brain, to understand the human program, as I call it, the way that the brain, the nervous system, and the mind works, is very important on the spiritual path, because if you only dive into the spiritual swimming pool, then you're gonna be swimming around in that zoo, the zoo of spirituality, which swims around in spirituality, in the swimming pool of spirituality. But that's great, that's wonderful, there's nothing wrong with it. But it won't take you all the way home if that's where you want to go. Not everyone wants to go there. People are afraid, people are afraid of themselves. Trauma. People suffer from trauma and PTSD and anxiety because of PTSD. And that's why I say that understanding the brain is so crucial. To understand the brain is very important, because if you don't understand trauma, then you don't understand the brain. And if you don't understand the brain, then you don't understand the human being. And then why should you be such a wonderful, smart-ass guru, If you don't understand trauma, then you cannot, in my mind, if you don't understand trauma and the effects of trauma and the effects of PTSD in the brain, then you cannot really be a leader, you cannot really be a teacher, you cannot really be a guru, because 60% of the world population suffer from trauma in one form or another in the brain, and there is certain PTSD reactions to that trauma, and those plays out in different ways in all of us, and it affects the domain that we call our mental and spiritual life. And if we don't understand that, then we are kids in a kindergarten, and we don't want to be that. We want to be in the real business of truth and development, because we want to improve the world with the best of insights and knowledge. Thank you very much. This talk was way too long, but never mind. Thanks.